At Penn State University, where excellence reaches athletics and academic research, and the alumni support is overwhelming, extensive research is being internally funded by Penn State to specifically focus on sports-related concussions. Dr. Sam Slobanoff is a professor of kinesiology and neurosurgery and has spent the last 15 years exclusively researching sports-related concussions. He is working closely with the football team and a team of researchers to try to understand sports-related concussions in a more advanced way.
Nice situation here. We have a culture at Penn State, combining research and clinical practice, and potentially implement our new finding into that safety, return to play, and understand the nature of concussive injury.
Dr. Slobanoff has been concussed multiple times himself as an Olympic diver. He was also the head diving coach for the Soviet Union in the 1980s. Understanding that each concussion injury is different and unique to the individual athlete, the research team uses a variety of modules to gather as much information as possible, such as cutting-edge on-campus MRI brain imaging, blood work, genetic testing, and custom virtual reality testing to gather baseline data throughout the entire year for each athlete.
We know that major symptoms and the major consequences of concussive injury would be related with a balance problem, potential with spatial memory, and reaction time, speed of executive functions. We don't know how to prevent it, how to treat it, and what we can do to make sure that athlete is completely safe and injury recover, not symptoms recover. Injury recover and an athlete's ready to go and play again, because every single concussive injury is different.
In 2015, Penn State also teamed up with Head Health Network, a company that has developed helmet sensor technology, and in 2016 with ProTech helmet caps. Madeline Scaramuzzo and the athletic training staff monitor the impacts and collect valuable data from every practice and game day.
Every day I put this receiver out at practice, and this is what communicates with the sensors in the helmets. So I have an app on my phone, and I have it set to, if someone gets a hit that's above a certain amount of G-forces, it will send me a notification. And I can go in and look at it and see exactly how many G-forces it was, what the rotational aspect of it was, where it was on the helmet. So it gives me all that information in real time.
The athletic training staff and researchers analyze the data and have noticed a dramatic decrease in higher intensity submaximal impacts. Their research has been published in various medical journals and sports training conferences.
For 25 G hits, a daily average per player would get 6 hits in 2015. In 2017, we can come down and see that on a daily average per player, they're only receiving 3 hits in the 25G category. So we dropped the hits by half.
Every single concussive injury is brain injury. We know the blood flow reduced after concussive injury. How much? We don't know, because it's really difficult to assess immediately after injury. Not only football, because it's a silent epidemic in every single sport. And what we can do to prevent, not only to treat, with the emphasis to prevention of injury, using helmets, using telemetry, using accelerometer techniques, implementing the pads and the helmets and different pads for safety and preventing. That's both important, but prevention is most important, individualized way.
Using side-by-side MRI scans, the researchers can see an increase in blood flow around the brain.
What you're seeing in the green is the blood flow. There's increased blood flow, and if there's increased blood flow, it could mean that there's an increased metabolic demand. That's what we saw after the season.
The major hypothesis of this research is that the doctors and training staff cannot predict or measure the severity of the brain injury until they can track the evolution of the injury with each athlete. This will aid the medical staff to calculate the recovery time for each athlete on a case-by-case basis.
We want to do the most we can to help our student athletes, and it's not just while they're here, it's for the future. And we're going to do our due diligence and do our research. We are not changing behavior right now. We're purely collecting data just to see, what's going on out there. But what we'd like to hopefully do is use that data to one day change behavior.
There's a lot of concern, a lot of political issues about it, but we are actually scientists and would like to provide the evidence, and potentially that could help us to understand who are at high risk for injury, how to prevent injury, definitely make the sport of football safer.
Just being a Power 5 school and having the alumni base that we have allows us to do this type of research. So, one day somebody is going to find out a way to diagnose concussion. Before that happens, we're going to try to lessen the impact that our kids are getting to their heads as much as we possibly can.